Wake him up.
Freddy vs. Jason is a much better movie than fucking Frankenstein's Army. Let me be the first to say that.
Hey, you know what I would have rather watched than Frankenstein's Army?
Frankenstein, the movie?
Not even. How about Army of Frankensteins?
Is that an actual thing?
Yeah, because I tried to find this movie on IMDb, and Army of Frankensteins from the same year comes up first. And I was like, hold on. Have we been calling this movie the wrong thing this whole time? Nah. Guess what that movie's about.
Well, it better not be an army of Frankenstein's monsters.
You're not going to like this. You're not going to like this one bit.
I'm of the ilk, the subsection of people that hate when people call Frankenstein's monster Frankenstein.
Yeah, like, because...
Now, in defense of those people, Frankenstein is the name of a monster. Don't name your scientist Frankenstein in the book if you don't want people to get confused.
Are we sure it's not the other way around?
Frankenstein is the fucking scientist.
Yeah.
And his monster is the monster. The problem is his name, the scientist's name, is a monster's name.
Well, yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
You know what I mean?
That is a monster's name.
Fuck yeah.
But...
You could have named him Dr. fucking, I don't even know, Stick Shift, and you wouldn't think.
In the book, does he give the monster a name?
He doesn't. That's sort of the whole point.
So if he was like, all right, Larry, everybody would be like, all right, so we got Larry.
Yeah.
I'm going to be Larry for Halloween, green face, stitches across the forehead, nuts in the neck. Let's go.
Yeah.
Or are they bolts?
Just
nuts.
Name your fucking doctor a regular ass name so people don't think that that's the name of the fucking monster. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you. I just realized I've been wearing headphones, so I don't know if I've been talking louder because I can't hear myself.
Not that I could tell.
I've been wearing these headphones since I woke up. Sometimes I forget they're on.
Do you just go to bed with headphones on?
I have done that.
I don't know. This is so uncomfortable. I can't imagine it.
Oh, they're like noise canceling, so it's like I just walking around and I don't hear nothing.
But it's for the same reason I can't wear like the blindfold. Because it's something on my head. And it prevents me from being able to fall asleep.
I see.
Earbuds, not so much, because they're small and they fit nice.
I see that I can't do.
But I flop like a fish at night. So those headphones are going to be crushed under my dick eventually.
I don't want to know about your sleep position. I'm not interested in hearing about your sleep position.
Picture a position, chances are I've slept in it.
The letter K.
Probably.
Jesus.
You get one arm going up and one leg going down. Out. That's a K.
Yeah. All right. Well, look.
And you get two other guys to do the same thing and suddenly I'm a gay racist.
You need a better mattress.
Probably. I'm sure you're right.
This is me just shoehorning in some ad for
Casper?
Casper, Jasper. I don't fucking... It's a
Shark mattress. Fucking, yeah. My grandfather bought me the bed that I have. That's how old that is.
Yeah, you're due for a new one.
Well, who has $900 to spend on Goose Down?
Oh, you don't get that. Ew.
I don't know what I'm doing, obviously.
Well, why would you want to sleep on a pile of feathers?
Some people apparently find it... pillows. You put your head on that.
Yeah, and they're not made... I don't get the Goose Down ones. That's even worse.
You get poked by the thick part of the...
You're goddamn right you do. That Goose Down has never been an option for me.
I've never tried it, but I would not... I feel like it would be like sleeping on hay.
It is a lot
Just
like sleeping on hay.
Yeah.
Except it's more pointy.
How?
There's
hay in there.
Yeah, well, look. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get you a pillow made out of hay and a pillow made out of feathers and then a control pillow made out of bricks.
Right. Out of bricks.
Yeah.
So why is the control like the worst thing?
I'm not a scientist. All right. I'm just trying to myth bust here.
You're sticking me between a rock and a pillow full of bricks.
Good. Welcome to Grindhouse Movie Club. Where we debate, the great debate is the best sleeping position, and clearly it's not the letter K.
Listen, if I fall asleep on my back, I stop breathing, so I'm really relegated to only a few.
All right. You're like a shark.
Yeah.
You're like a shark.
I keep moving.
If you land on your back, you die. So, all right. So if you see Jay on his back, guys, help him up.
Yeah.
At least flip him over.
Just, pretend I have alcohol poisoning. I'm sorry, my throat just decided to try and escape.
I'm glad you kept it in.
Well, yeah, it would make this podcast very one-sided.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go to darkroastcult.com where there's no throats.
There's no throats there. We keep them firmly intact within the mouth or deep past it.
There are t-shirts. Finally, they're there for a time until I figure out how to make them myself. That's the next step. First you get somebody to make them, and then you go fuck you and you make them yourself.
You sure do.
So grab them.
That's capitalism.
It is. We want to buy a new microphone so that it sounds a lot better when you listen to the podcast.
So it doesn't take 5 hours to edit a series of clicks out.
Yeah. So go check out the shirts. And again, go to darkroastcult.com. That's the plug right there.
Damn.
We just
streamlined.
That's the whole sponsorship.
So I watch a YouTube channel called Internet Historian. It's this, I don't know if he's British or Australian, but he covers a lot of like interesting. He just did an hour-long, essentially documentary called Man in Cave about this guy in 1925 that died in a cave. Okay. But his NordVPN ad was like 2 minutes long.
Oh boy!
And it's like, chill with that. You can make that shorter.
I flicked on one of these YouTube videos where it's like, oh, here's 8 truest scary stories from the internet, and it was like the first story pissed me off so bad because it was like this guy named Ralph. He was like clicking on the internet, and then his computer was like, oh no, we see you, we got your internet, we all your internet is ours. But had he had NordVPN, that wouldn't have happened. But they don't say NordVPN. They're just like, a VPN would have prevented this
got
horrible
you in the first
thing.
Part. Oh, my God.
And then, lo and behold, his ad is,
What a piece of shit. Oh. Why would you... The nice thing about Internet Historian, for example, and a bunch of other people, is that sometimes they'll just be like, it's ad time. You can skip to this time code if you want.
I'm really surprised they get away with that.
I just fucking, as long as it's in there, who gives a shit? He also makes them funny. Like, if you care to listen to them, I don't. But he tries to add a little bit of sense of humor to that.
Nah, I just tune it right out.
Once you get a shitload of viewers on your channel, eventually you get to be like, listen, I'll do your fucking ad, but we're doing it my way.
Give me your ad money.
Yeah.
But also, I'm gonna wipe my butt with it, just a little, just the corners.
I'm just gonna have it in a trash can nearby.
Speaking of trash cans.
Oh, what movie did we do this week?
Oh boy, Army of Frankensteins.
Let's just cut this and then we'll watch Army of Frankensteins and do that one instead.
Please.
What a fucking shithead movie. This sucks.
All right. This movie has...
I need to issue an apology for this movie. Memory served me poorly in this case. Because it had been years since I had seen it. I thought it was better than it was.
This was one of those movies where, you showed it to me and I was drunk.
Yeah.
So the movie happened to me and then I was just like, ah.
As it turns out, that's the only way to consume this movie with any enjoyment whatsoever. Because you don't pay attention to all the boring nothing shit and you just see a bunch of weird monsters with propellers for faces.
Yeah.
Walking on stilts.
I had to stone myself into a coma to watch this like yesterday morning.
Yeah. And I was still drunk from the night before. So really ideal conditions for the both of us.
And I think our notes are really going to reflect that.
Yeah, they sure are. The way I fumble through these 4 pages I have written.
My first note is not to be confused with Army of Frankensteins. So let's get that out of the way, guys. This is not Army of Frankensteins.
My first note is Dimitri with the intro, but the second one is great leader Joseph Stalin. So that's the headspace that I was in. Long Live Motherland is right after that.
They do say that.
They fucking fist a ham with this movie when it comes to hating Nazis. It's like the first thing you see is them stepping on the Nazi flag, and I'm like, okay. It's gonna be like that.
Oh boy.
And then it just goes downhill from there.
Yeah, it's one of those films where it's like the idea, it's kind of good.
Interesting idea to me.
But then like the film
the execution
does a bunch of silly stuff.
Stupid, lazy choices.
And it tries to like right turn into spooky, but it doesn't. It like misses the turn and has to go spooky adjacent, which is not Horror Street at all.
No.
It's like Uncomfortable Avenue.
Yeah.
And then you got to go all the way down to the end and then turn to get the fuck out of there.
You got it at the end. It's Icky Court.
Yeah.
It's just a big roundabout.
Oh boy, it's a one-way street, and every turnoff is blocked because of a parade. And you're the leader of the fucking parade.
5 trumpets do the job of 1. You got 2 sentences or less to spoil this movie?
I do. If you see a swastika, you shouldn't stick around. And then also I just wrote down Marilyn Manson's wet dream.
Yeah, it sure is that.
It sure is.
I got on the list of slave positions, suddenly building a railroad doesn't sound so bad. And then the trailer for the new Wolfenstein sure looks sick.
I would prefer to be playing Wolfenstein. that would please me more.
At least it's fun.
This seems like the same thing.
I don't like. There's not really a whole lot of silliness, given how silly the content of the film is. They take it very seriously for the first third.
Well, considering within the first 5 minutes, you see people marching by a man shitting in a bush.
You see that? You see them bathing in a pig trough.
Yeah, you see him do a lot of silly stuff, and then it's just all right, it's Nazi time.
I'll tell you the first thing I noticed. Obviously, the premise of this movie is a bunch of Soviet soldiers are going into Nazi-occupied territory in order to find a doctor, a scientist, and rescue another company of soldiers. The first thing I noticed was all of the weapons that they were using when they fired. It was the muzzle flash was a post effect on every single one, and they had automatic weapons, so you just had to sit there and see that a lot. That was the first. And then I started paying attention to how much of the effects in this movie were practical, and let me tell you, none.
Very few. There's a lot of blood spatters on the camera.
Yeah. The fake shatter of the lens that fixes itself.
Yeah, and it's just it doesn't make it any spookier when the blood hits the lens, because it doesn't look real at all. It's just a quick thing that if you saw it by itself, it would look like shit.
Yeah.
But you're seeing it with a bunch of other colors put next to it, so it's that kind of looked maybe real, even though I'm seeing a ping pong ball pop. Okay.
Yeah.
The movie was I've missed. I mean, it looks what I did like.
Okay.
The one thing I did enjoy.
Sure.
Was that they color corrected the whole film to make it look like it was shot in black and white and then made to be color.
Yeah.
Just like old footage of the Queen as a child.
Yeah, they chose a palette and they stuck with it. That was fine. The problem is it's so fucking drab that you get bored watching it because it's just gritty. One of the people that they have with them is a documentary filmmaker, so it's a found footage movie. It's presented as a found footage film, a documentary film. One of the more important things to do in a found footage movie is not cut for no reason. Let me tell you, it's the fucking director's favorite thing to do in this movie. We're just gonna cut. We're just gonna cut from a room to a different room with a monster in it, and then cut back and nobody will fucking notice. Hey, thanks, man.
I did notice.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
Well, so did I.
I noticed a lot of really...
It must be weird for them.
I noticed a lot of really bad cuts that were supposed to be make it look like it was what do you call it? A single shot.
Yeah.
But they go from they walk into a room and it goes black because that's what happens every time you walk into a room. And it's it's the camera needing to adjust for how much light it's letting in.
Let's talk about...
And they use that to hide a cut or the light leaks.
They didn't even hide cuts half the time, number one. It'll be the thing... If they did try to hide it, they hired somebody who was blind to do so. Because they would do that thing where a sudden turn, and then there's something there. But every time it turns, you can see that there's a cut. In the scene where they get attacked by a bunch of them, once they find the fucking bunker with the generator that the guy has to crank on, some of the... There's a spot in the movie where it literally just pauses for 5 seconds.
I don't remember
A
that.
grenade goes off and the movie just pauses.
Yeah,
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
I think that's to simulate the experience of watching an old film on reels where you have to swap out the new reel.
Oh, I have so much to say about that too later on in the movie.
That's what I assumed they were trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Simulate
a shitty movie. Because they didn't need to simulate that.
Well,
they got the real thing right in front of them.
Well, how does it start? Right at the beginning, we get Dmitri.
We get long live motherfucking Russia. This is we're gonna go. It's just footage of wartime. You don't get to see what they're firing at. They're just firing blindly. And then in the middle of a firefight, he's like giving the soldiers scene direction. He's like, okay, run up this hill. I want to get a shot of that.
Oh my god!
Not the time when your life is in danger to be like, oh, can we retake that? I missed.
The director comes out and he's like, hey, what's up? I'm Dmitri. You're never gonna see me again. I'm peace. By the way, I'm here to film the heroic deeds of this unit. Blah blah blah. Because Putin told me to.
For our glorious leader.
Or not Putin, Stalin.
It's the same guy. Who cares?
Okay. So, yeah.
I would hate to offend all the Russian people listening to this fucking podcast where there's no internet or electricity.
So, let's see. The heroic deeds. I jotted some of them down.
Sure.
Because they're just like, it's like a montage for the first bit. Of just like these soldiers marching, their heroic deeds, which include... it's a shot of soldiers standing over like a ditch of dead bodies, pretending to shoot them, and then he puts a cigarette on the one guy's helmet.
Yeah, really respectful display from your soldiers there, Stalin. This will really make your country proud.
Yeah. Another soldier gives an old lady a chocolate bar, and the old lady looks so threatened. She looks absolutely terrified to even touch the chocolate bar.
She's probably diabetic.
And then there's they throw a blanket over an old man by the river.
That's it.
And then the rest is them just shooting people.
And bathing in a pig trough.
Yeah.
And Dmitri very heroically standing in the way of gunfire to film it. He just stands right in the middle of the fucking field while they're shooting around him. Yeah, I gotta get this good shot, though.
At one point, the cameraman, he was giving them directions, and they're like marching, and he's like, come on, more. And then the one dude just starts marching like an asshole. Just like making like splashes go everywhere.
Was it the biggest asshole in the whole company?
I think so.
The guy who is just a fucking big jerk for 2/3 of the movie, and then you're supposed to feel bad for him because he's just a head and torso on a table later.
Is that the No Country for Old Men haircut guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think so.
You just call him Anton Chigurh because these are all fucking Russian impronounceable names anyway.
As soon as I said No Country for Old Men, I knew you'd have that guy's first and last name.
Yep.
Just
long
loaded.
in the short places, short in the long places. Something a child would do to a doll.
I want it to look like it's both from the future and the past.
Javier Bardem is his name.
Javier Bardem.
And he's good in pretty much everything I've seen him in. I'll be honest with you.
I don't need to know that he's in other things.
That's
the only role he needs to be in.
You need to know he's in a movie called The Counselor with Michael Fassbender and Cameron Diaz, where he tells a story about her spread eagle straddling the windshield of his car, and he goes, "It wasn't a turn on for me. It was just so gynecological." Yeah. You also need to know he's in Skyfall. He's the best character in Skyfall.
Oh my god, is that a James Bond movie?
It is.
Okay. Well, I'll watch it eventually. He's like a bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh well, he has to be.
He's also gay, which is just sick.
I mean, that's good for him,
right?
Good for him.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. You'd think like there's a peacekeeping element to storming through a country that's not yours in wartime, but these people just like fucking raid towns with just regular folks who just have chickens and pigs nearby, and like they just beat the shit out of women and steal liquor for like 20 minutes.
Heroic duties.
It's for Mother Russia.
Those duties were so heroic that like they had to cover the lens so that you didn't get exposed to how heroic they were doing.
Yeah, so 10 minutes of fucking just a bunch of wartime shots, and then they find like they find somehow the dreariest town within 100-kilometer radius of where they are,
and they ruin it.
They sure do.
They raid that thing, and
they
then
get mad loaded.
And then and during their celebration, one of them is just chucking around a dead chicken.
Yeah,
like he's
at people.
Yeah, he's like spinning it and just heaving that chicken.
It's a pretty realistic looking chicken too. I'm tempted to think that it was a real chicken.
I'd like to, you know.
I think at one point he like tries to wear it as a hat.
Oh, probably. Just real heroic dudes.
Yeah.
Heroic men.
Again, making their country proud as fuck. Definitely not aligning themselves with being the villains in this film.
No.
And getting what they deserve subsequently.
So we got there was a weird shot with all of this, and then it's like it cuts to just them sleeping on the ground, and then the cameraman filming somebody meandering through the woods.
Yep.
And then that's the shot.
It is. Not really explained. A lot of things aren't explained at all in this movie. They come across a skeleton that looks weird as shit, and they just they just go past it like it ain't nothing.
It's got a horse's head, for God's sake.
How the fuck aren't you stopping to be like, where the fuck are we now?
Yeah, the skeleton is sparking.
Maybe this isn't the place I'm looking for.
Yeah, maybe we call this one in. Hey, hold up, we got a thing here.
They call the whatever governing body superior power that they report to mother also.
Well,
there's
Russia.
some weird Oedipal thing going on there. I don't want to get too deeply into that. It's a fucking psychological rabbit hole.
So during all of these heroic deeds, they get a broadcast. Or no, actually, I think they're like, hey, my radio is broke. And then all of a sudden...
Yeah, weird broadcast, which is always like in every movie when there's a weird broadcast, one of two things happen. We're thinking about 28 Days Later here, and a couple other movies that I can't remember the names of at the moment, but either it's something horrible at the broadcast, or it's something so bleak that you wish you hadn't chased it. Like, it's either you fucking go to that shit and you get abducted by aliens right away, or everyone's dead. Those are your two options when you follow a broadcast with an unknown source.
You know what? I wouldn't even have the radio on. I'm not gonna lie.
Unless I'm trying to contact someone, we just turn that shit right off.
Well,
I saw the horse head skeleton. Nobody here is somebody I want to talk to.
Yeah, this town's not for us, guys. Let's go around this one.
Find somewhere else with vodka we can steal from a fucking 50-year-old woman who that's all she has.
That was like her wedding vodka.
Yeah, she was saving it for like the anniversary of her husband's death. Nah, that's ours. We're here now. Let's
drink it disrespectfully.
Make a loud ruckus in the woods 100 feet from your barn.
Kick a goddamn chicken.
Call the documentary guy Moscow Jew Boy for like the entire movie.
I missed that.
Well, Anton Chigurh really hates the fact that he's Jewish and brings up the fact that he's Jewish a lot when he's mad.
You know what? I might have been writing the entire time when that happened.
Later on, they're in that friggin' generator bunker shit that they end up going to the basement of and dying. And everyone dies. Just to get that out of the way.
Oh,
spoiler alert!
Please don't ruin this film.
Everyone fucking dies, and it's the best part of the movie.
It actually kind of is.
Yeah, he gets pissed anyway, and just says, I'm gonna listen to a Jew. And it's like, oh, okay.
Oof, I
thought you were fighting the Nazis, not one of them.
For real, I know he makes a big point about one of the guys not being from Russia, but from Poland.
Yeah,
it's like, just fucking, you're all shooting the same bullets.
I think that's the young guy when he finds out that fucking he's supposed to be in charge, and it's like, I'm not going to listen to a child. And it's, well, here's the thing though, chain of command. That's like the number one thing in the military.
Yeah,
that's the thing that you got to recognize and listen to and obey.
Yeah, doesn't that suck?
I just wrote at some point boring footage.
Boring footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I don't know where that would have been, but like I could see that being applied to the entire film. Yeah, I mean, for a film that's about Nazi experiments, being monsters and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
man, like 20 minutes. They stretch out 20 minutes of good monster footage into about 40 minutes.
They do. They could have compacted it into 15 and made just a real good movie. If you had done a 30-minute short, the movie wouldn't have been bad. No. Because you have all this footage. Also, I'm going to bring this up now because I'm going to forget. Dmitri, at one point, it gets discovered that he's working directly for Stalin, and he's essentially leading this squad into death with the intention of capturing this scientist at all costs because he does crazy experiments and the Soviets want him. So they toss him down a body chute, and then the camera cuts after he freaks out for a while, and when it comes back, he's giving a message to his parents, and he's like, this is my last roll of film. And I got curious, because this is supposed to be in the 40s, right? At the latest. Something like that. Early 40s, potentially even late 30s. Soviet invasion of Germany, I don't really know the timeline on that.
Anyway, there are only a certain set number of ways to film in that time period. And we're talking about 16 millimeter, 8 millimeter, and Super 8. Okay, so just out of curiosity, I looked up roughly how many minutes you can get out of a roll of film. And it's broken down by foot length. And so for the sake of giving the guy credit, I went to the longest one, the longest possible reel with the most amount of time. And at most, with 8 millimeter film, you can get, and it has to be a 2,400 foot roll. So you're not carrying that. You can get 200 minutes. The movie continues for another day and a half. Where are you getting that film from, Demeet?
It's a magic bag of holding.
Did it?
With an infinite reel.
Did he fucking just stuff a reel of film one square at a time down his throat and shit it out slowly like kelp tape?
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, he might as well have been casting magic missile this entire film. It would have made it...
So many times where he gets attacked and he just doesn't die.
Well, here...
These things have fucking blades for hands, and they're cutting past over top of the camera.
We're gonna get to that.
Oh,
we're not there yet, Jay.
I hate this movie so bad, dude.
And you know
Once
what?
the shit starts to hit the fan, the shit hits the fan in terms of quality of film as well.
Oh, for sure it does. Before we get to that,
Yeah.
so we're at the suspicious signal, and they're like, oh, well, we got to go help these other Russians who are in this town. I wonder where that is. I don't know. I don't know. We'll just go.
Find it, I guess.
They come across this like corpse, and you look at it and you go, hey, that ain't right. That ain't right. The one guy pulls the gun off of it, and then the cameraman goes over and flips it over, and you can see it's like a monster.
Yeah.
And then you get probably the worst jump scare I've ever seen.
Which one's that?
It's the one where the corpse goes, and then blood hits the camera for no fucking reason.
He was coughing it up.
No, he was not.
Like his eyes exploded or something. No?
Sure, yeah.
You know, I thought there was something. There's got to be some reason for blood to get on the camera.
Yeah, he had some fucking screws coming out of his neck, and like his head is a huge eyeball. And then the captain come over, and he's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, nothing.
That's what I mean.
Nothing, man. Nothing's going on.
You don't think that's
look at this monster, man. Look at this.
Exactly. Please look at this and recognize it as horrible, so that we can all agree that it is.
Like, okay, maybe that last body was like a dude who died near a horse.
Yeah.
And a lot of the bones went somewhere else.
Well, where did they go?
The wind of time has taken the bones and turned them into fossils, but not all of them.
Just some.
But this way, I can't ignore this. This is a half-dead person.
Fuck. So he just doesn't give a shit. It's not normal for a dead body to have a seizure.
No, not normally. And generally when a zombie or a monster goes bleh and blood comes out, like there's some
There's cause for concern.
Yeah, it's like, help, there's blood on me.
It's not just, another day at the office.
Boy, oh boy, times were sure different in the 1940s.
We had to walk uphill through blood in 6 feet of it, both ways.
Yeah, I took the blood of multiple people and just chugged it because I needed to drink something.
I was watching, there's Evan Peters he's Jeffrey Dahmer in a new shit on Netflix. And at one point, and this is the way that I found it out, but he used to work at a blood bank, and he would just take the bags home and drink them in the mirror.
Hey.
What if there's AIDS in there?
Then they shouldn't be donating their blood.
Maybe it's for testing. Maybe it's for AIDS testing.
I don't think that goes to the bank. I think that one goes straight to the lab. You don't store that. You go, let's test it.
Well, he liked to store it in his intestinal tract.
I've only watched the first episode.
Not
like you're gonna spoil anything.
No, that's one thing that happens.
Hey, man.
It's pretty true to like the reality of the story. Listen to me talking about a much more interesting thing than this movie. For anybody listening, the new Dahmer series that's 10 episodes long is slow as fuck, but it's interesting. It's fucking slow as all get out on purpose, but it's a fun watch.
And you're recommending that over this feature film?
I would recommend a snuff film over this. A snuff film of my own father.
Well, I hope you picked out. I mean, we got the choices. I don't want to spoil nothing, but I got.
Oh, you got that on the list for me to choose later? Sick. Yeah.
So you get this terrible fucking jump scare, and the guy's like, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, they come to the town.
Yeah, and Dimitri gets told to stay at the back, and then he promptly goes to the front to film.
Oh, for sure he does. And they're like, we're going to approach slowly. The first thing the sniper does is jog. he fucking busts into a little sprint.
He's the loudest one, probably.
Oh, he's the guy who shoots first and asks questions later, literally. And so they come to the town, and okay, strike three. We got a tank with somebody built into it.
That is, yeah.
Okay.
We'll just film that and then continue in the direction of where we were going when we saw that just now. Right
boy.
here I wrote down, not even remotely convinced that these are actual soldiers.
That's fair.
Because nothing.
They look at that huge tank and they don't say a fucking thing. By the way, it's cool that they show you that dude, the pilot built into the tank. Mm-hmm. They put that right there because you go, oh,
there's gonna be more of
cool.
that.
I can't wait to see something like that in action.
And then you just get a bunch of people dressed up in Victorian era garb on foot.
What I literally at one point I wrote in here, it's like, this is what I can only describe as like a bad haunted house.
Well,
it's a bad house haunt. There's just flashing lights.
I wrote the same. This is the advertisement for a fucking haunted house in like Missouri. I wrote the same goddamn thing.
But you get this wicked tank, and you're like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool. And then they just keep walking until they come across a smoldering pile of nuns. And you're like, oh, look at this big pile of bodies. That's crazy. And then one of the nuns is like, hey, hello. Well, not really. She's still breathing. And then somebody just walks up and just fucking puts a knife through her skull.
I assume with the intention of putting her out of her misery, but you also just killed a nun that could potentially have been saved.
Right? And, I mean, you did that.
That's not going to look good for God.
No. You put that knife through her skull so she'd feel nothing.
Real piece of shit, you know that?
I had to have some fun with this. There's just anyway.
I started calling the sniper Aragorn.
Aragorn, I like it.
Fucking like when fucking Frodo goes to the bar and he's just in the corner in a hood, and this guy's dressed the exact same way.
Yeah. Oh, he's got like a cape on. I think that's like a sniper thing, like a hood and a cape.
I started sort of deconstructing this company of people. So you have a Jew, somebody from Poland. You got Aragorn, and then just a Mongol.
Yeah.
Like, why would he be allowed in?
I don't know. Is that part? I mean, they're like right next to each other, aren't they?
Did they collaborate during the World War?
I don't know. Well,
I figured they would have hated each other.
Hey, man. If you have the answers for us,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Email them to us. Yeah,
right. I found it right where I wrote it. Nun pile.
Nun pile.
And then why did he stab a nun?
So she'd feel nothing.
So this is, now I gotta talk about found footage horror movies for a second.
Okay.
There really are two things that, and I've said it before, but that you gotta keep in mind. It is not a means by which you can get away with lazily making a movie and establish a storyline. So because this is a found footage movie, they didn't bother having a coherent story. All that you know before they get that call that we got to go rescue the thing is that I'm filming for Stalin just cuz.
Stalin wants it.
Stalin needs.
You kind of do what he says or else.
He takes your family, obviously.
He comes and gets you.
And then even that is like, it's flimsy as shit. And then the other thing is like, you can make a found footage horror movie without having 70% of it being boring walking.
That's true.
Have things happen in your movie. People do it all the time. Write better. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you because like this movie could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
It could have been so much better. The thing with like having a found footage horror film is like I don't think people are just recording everything. Like if I had a camera and
you'd pick and choose your times.
It's like, oh hey, I'm going out. I better film my day.
Yeah, something like is happening.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'm not like here I am walking.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my pals. We're going for a stroll.
And nobody's saying anything to each other.
Yeah,
we're gonna put the camera down until there's something worth shooting.
Yeah, I started filming as soon as we find the dead body. It's like, oh, there's the dead body, and we're done filming the dead body. Click.
So you take you take 5-second B-roll of the fucking tank person. You take the 10 seconds it takes to stab a nun in the head. And then you turn the camera off until you get to the desecrated graves that have obviously had the bodies robbed out of them.
Yeah,
And that saves you 10 minutes of movie just there.
He's not... Like, this isn't supposed to be a movie for Stalin. This isn't... Why is he getting all this cinematography, B-roll?
Yeah.
Like,
I want to make sure I get this shot right for Stalin.
Yeah,
he's going to get so upset if it's just a little bit out of focus. He's probably going to murder my wife.
Stalin's he started RottenTomatoes.com. He's a real cinephile.
Roger Ebert's fucking Stalin's grandson. That makes sense.
Oh Christ.
They're both hard asses. Also, they're both dead. Oh,
they got those three things in common.
I would say rest in peace, Roger Ebert, but he's kind of an asshole about some movies I like.
Didn't he say a rude thing about Ryan Dunn as well?
Probably.
Over Twitter?
Yeah, something about just fucking being a jackass really comes bite you in that jackass or some shit.
Yeah.
Who knows? Enjoy your fucking jaw cancer. You look like a ghoul when you died.
Back to the smoldering nuns. So when I saw this pile of nuns, what I was hoping was that it was like a nun king, like just like sewed all these nuns together and then realized like, fuck.
One of them wakes up and the whole thing just starts writhing around horribly.
That's what I was waiting for.
That would have
been
like, fantastic.
He like made his mistake. Like, let me burn the nun king.
Yeah, that was a whoopsie experiment.
Because like, why kill all the nuns when you could use them for parts?
That's a great question. Plus, then you have the angle of resurrection because you're bringing them back from the dead.
Yep.
So maybe one of them turns into Jesus. And then you get your own second nunning.
Sister Act.
Sister
Act 3, The Nun King. And it's just Whoopi Goldberg back in her habit. And then also it's a monster.
Habit. Fuck.
So yeah, there's dug up graves. We get the director tripping in there going, oh fuck. And then, when he falls into that grave, it looks a lot more shallow than when he gets out of it.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of looks like he fell into a small hole, but then it's like, oh, he's getting out of a real deep hole somehow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's interesting also that he has no problem. Now, is that Dimitri that fell in?
Probably.
Okay. Dimitri is the cameraman.
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting how he had no problem getting out of that grave, but he can't climb up a 4.5 foot long body chute later on.
Let's not talk about that. I'm glad you used the word shoot because it was very much a trash shoot.
Yeah.
It looked like the set from Star Wars.
It's where I put my garbage in my apartment.
I was waiting for the walls to just compact. That's what I was waiting for.
Like a fucking homeless man who slept in the wrong place.
Ugh. I don't like to think about that. So they come to this church where there is a very loud mechanical sound emanating from it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Let's just pop in there.
Yeah, they go in there and just all of a sudden it's just silent as fuck.
Yeah.
And that's my story.
That's a great story.
That's my story.
Really no explanation as to why it became quiet other than so that you could hear the dialogue. Okay.
Speaking of going quiet, at the beginning of this film, they add in like a real sound.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of tapers out so you don't notice. And then I got thinking about it like halfway through this movie. I'm like, am I just not noticing it? I was trying to listen for it.
No, it went away. It went right away.
Neat. I would have rather it be there the whole time.
Well, the regular noises that a camera that old makes all the time are only useful in certain situations. So we're going to not have them. Unless we want to call attention to the fact that it is indeed an old camera that we're using for 10 seconds.
Oh, that's not the only time they call attention to it.
They call attention to a lot of stupid shit at stupid times in this movie.
They sure do.
This fucking church, all right, it's got Tesla coils in it, so they're trying to catch lightning. Immediately, I'm in Germany. They're trying to catch a scientist for doing weird experiments. I'm like, this is fucking Frankenstein we're going after. I don't want anything to do with that.
Judging by
all the shit I've seen up to this point,
the desecrated graves where like just bones were left, like
put your twos together.
Well, maybe we know what's going on here. We've got enough information. Let's get the fuck out.
Fucking so yeah, they go into the church and then don't immediately turn around and leave once they realize that it's fully empty. Just cause movie.
Yeah. Oh, what kind of church is this? It's more like a factory. Is the line. Just
right on.
I just wrote that down because that just summed up the scene of them like walking around going like and then the captain's like, hey cameraman, stop fucking around, there might be danger. And then immediately the cameraman's like, hey, assistant, let's go turn some knobs.
Yeah, just turn that generator on.
I need more light for my film. Stalin's gonna want to see the shadows.
They turn the fucking generator on and one of the lights flickers and then there's a post-effect spark. Every single spark in this movie. And you gotta know, a lot of these monsters, and there's a lot of other, like, this is industrial era. There's metal everywhere, all right? Everything is made of metal in this movie. Metal and rock, and that's what you get. But enough about FM 96, which is a local radio station here.
That was a joke for 4 people.
So there's a lot of metal scraping metal. When I say that every single spark in this movie is done in post, I'm not exaggerating. Picture how many fake sparks you have to sit through in order to watch this movie.
Oh, there are sparks just shooting out of people.
Sometimes for no fucking good reason whatsoever.
Well, just, for example, the next scene is like, look what we found, and they bring them into this room.
They find this fucking thing that looks like the chest ink demon from Silent Hill.
It looks like a Sphinx cat. It's like an electric skin monster with no ass crack.
My thing is, this is obviously supposed to be a skin suit, but the fucking special effects are so bad, it just looks like a suit. It just looks like a leotard.
It does.
You know?
It looks very much like somebody's just wearing something and they're part of Cirque du Soleil.
So they poke it, which is a mistake, and then it comes to life, and that's a fake spark right there. You don't even need to have that one.
Yeah, its hand like shoots some sparks for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like dragging, you know how in haunted houses,
right,
you get like the metal surface and they have the gloves with the fingertips that like,
yes,
I thought it was that.
That's flint.
Is that flint?
Thinking of, yeah.
I feel like it's not, but it might be. Who knows?
It's the same shit that's in lighters.
I don't know. I saw it happen on an electric, not like an electric fence, but it was like I don't know. They had like a metal surface.
I think they have like flint inside the glove at the fingertips.
I have no idea.
And so they just grrr around it because
Maybe.
it strikes easy. It's flint in a fucking Brillo pad.
This is not what we're not here. We're here to get through this.
I just want to talk about anything else.
We're here to hunker down and just get through this. Yeah. So as soon as they poke this monster, it gets the fuck up and hails Hitler.
It sure does. Right as it's fucking.
It shoots that arm out first thing. It's like, all right, I'm good morning. Good morning to Hitler.
Before breakfast, hail Hitler.
Yeah, before anything, wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Let's hail Hitler immediately.
Yeah, so that we're not shitty. And then their company leader decides that it wants to kill the thing.
Well, yeah,
he wants to kill the thing.
Well, this guy, he spends the whole movie just putting things out of its misery.
And then he gets put out of his misery.
Oh, he sure
promptly.
does.
Now, my argument is, up until that point, that thing hadn't done anything to harm anyone in the room. It was just sticking its arms out because it has no fucking eyes, probably so it could see around.
Well, yeah, it's like attached to a tether of electricity cords.
Yeah, so it's got a leash.
It's not, just let it be.
Yeah, but nah, instead, he goes, I'm going to put you out of your misery, and then he gets pissed and stabs him in the chest. That's what happens when you try to kill something.
Yeah, maybe don't tell it what you're going to do.
Yeah, one could argue that guy was just defending himself. Guy or girl,
absolutely.
Who knows?
It's kill or be killed in Germany.
Yeah, especially during wartime.
Yeah. My favorite part is like you hear something fire up, drill, saw, who knows?
Yeah, you just hear a thing.
And there's just a lot of commotion. The camera moves around, and then all of a sudden, this dude's guts are out.
Yeah, right out.
And you know what? I know he's not gonna make it because when it shows like them shooting the guy, the monster, he looks down and he's just standing right on this dude's guts.
Yeah.
The cameraman's got like a foot on the guy's intestines and he's like,
zero
whoops.
respect for this guy's guts that just came out.
It pans over and they're just hanging out of him and they're covered in mud.
There's another.
He's not gonna make it.
The Mongolian dude also, he gets the helmet pushed onto his head so hard that his brain comes out when they try to remove it.
Yeah, that helmet was the only thing keeping his head in.
Again, I had no question that he was not going to live. They make it seem like, okay, we can maybe save you. They meet this chick, and after abusing her horribly, she's like, I'm a nurse. I might be able to save your friend. And no. First of all, she goes, I tried. No, she didn't. No, she didn't at all. She didn't even come close to trying.
She didn't
What's this, a helmet? I'm taking it.
She didn't do anything medical.
No, she just ripped a brain out with her bare hands.
She barely examined the area. She looked at it and went, well, we got to get this helmet off.
And she realized that it was going to require a great amount of force to take it off. She's like, that's probably fine.
Yeah, that's not too much.
When they're starting the generator, I got pissed off because the prop requires no effort to turn the crank, but then the actor himself puts like acting effort in, but it's very clear that he's just acting. Because I could blow on that thing and spin it, but he's like, this is tough to... Oh, I'm supposed to be old.
This just crank hasn't been turned in year. Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, so the captain, he gets put out of his fucking misery. Or does, yeah.
That's the other thing, too, is they just, like, stand around and... They just knifed a nun because it gurgled a little bit.
Yeah.
But they have no problem just chilling while horrible abominations come to life 10 feet away.
Yeah. They definitely all hesitate, and then it takes No Country from Old Men guy to, like, stab him.
Yeah.
But it's like, if he would have went to the hospital, they might just have removed that part of his colon and... the part the cameraman put his Nikes on.
It fucking happened all the time.
Got that Reebok imprint.
It just means you shit faster.
Yeah. I mean, you're done in the bathroom a lot quicker. Or I guess maybe your day is sped up because you eat and you shit sooner. There's a benefit here somewhere.
Yeah, the process becomes streamlined.
There you go. There you go.
You can really only eat at restaurants that have an available bathroom within walking distance during an emergency.
Well,
because it's going to be one. It's like you finish a meal and say, all right, I got to go to the bathroom. Really? That seems kind of fast. And, I know it's coming.
Yeah.
This ain't my first rodeo.
I just took a bite of sandwich. My esophagus is right to my butt. So we've got
right
moments.
There, man. It's one tube straight.
It went from being a football field to a driveway.
It's fucking... And this steak is a soccer ball.
Oh, God. So, yeah, the No Country from Old Man guy, he stabs him, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Bunch of shots of, like, a weird Jesus statue with his arms busted off. And then they split up because they're like, hey...
At that point, I wrote down half this movie's B-roll. Because a lot of the stuff that's being filmed, like we said, there's no reason. Mm-hmm. You don't need to film it. Stalin's not going to be like, oh, nice Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm giving you a promotion to lieutenant colonel.
Absolutely. This is a dreary town, and I get that. I'm Stalin.
I got that from 30 seconds, not 8 minutes of it.
Yeah, so they split up because it's a horror movie, and that's what happens. Some of them are like trying to figure out what's up with the radio.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the radio's busted, guys, by the way.
Yeah.
They try to call out to mom earlier, and the guy goes, I can't call out. I'm just getting that weird signal, the distress call.
Yeah, and lo and behold, mom is Stalin. I don't know. We got to make sure you know that.
Yeah.
So they split up because that's a horror movie.
It is.
And you get them walking through the town.
Great.
And then they just like they happen upon some building where there's a whining sound coming from it. And then that's where you get this weird cut where they go into the building, but they had to make it look seamless, but it doesn't look very seamless.
No, it doesn't. Time had passed. There's also at least 3 times in this movie where the footage is fast forwarded.
I didn't notice that.
A lot of the time, I guess after they shot the footage, they're like, this guy's coming out way too slowly to be scary. Let's speed it up so he looks like he's walking faster.
You know, that's probably for the best.
It doesn't work.
Well,
I can tell.
It doesn't matter.
Right?
It's cool you can tell, but like, imagine they didn't do it.
Well, this movie would be as boring as it is already.
So it doesn't affect it in a negative way, is what we're saying.
It gave me something to look at. It gave me something to notice and use my brain about.
It sped up the experience.
Yeah, it made the movie over faster. I'll give you that.
So yeah, they they go into this dumb building. There's rabbits, and then the rabbit gets beaten to death.
Yeah,
Bear Grylls style.
Mm-hmm. For some reason.
Well, they were like, "Oh, dinner."
Yeah, right.
He just bashes it off a table a couple times.
Like that's probably someone's rabbit, as we learn shortly thereafter.
Yep. There's a whole argument about who's in command too. We skipped over that.
Yeah, who cares?
I didn't even write that down.
Because who fucking cares?
Yeah, I don't remember a single name or face, so it doesn't matter who's in charge.
Unfortunately, I have them all.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you do.
Anton Chigurh, No Country for Old Men guy's name is Vasya. Then the sniper's name is Sergei. Then the Mongolian guy's name is Ivan. And then the young kid's name is Sasha. And then I think Novikov is he's like the burly dude with the buzz cut. And then Seryosha is the old man who gets killed right off the bat. So I promptly ignored all of that after I wrote it down. It took me a bunch of tries, though.
What was No Country for Old Men guy's name?
Vasya.
So Vasya beats a rabbit to death.
Vasya's a real fucking asshole this whole movie.
Oh, yeah. And then an old man comes in the room.
Yeah.
And the sniper just shoots him in the fucking leg.
Just cuz.
Yeah. Oh, there's somebody.
Cool.
We better stop him from getting away. Instead of like, hey, we'd like to ask you a question, sir.
Yeah, we have good reason to fucking... we're looking for a company of soldiers. Where the fuck are they? Nah, bop.
I'm going to owe you a rabbit. So yeah, they shoot him. They shoot first, ask questions later, and they like hold him hostage or something. And the camera guy keeps like, he's like got the rabbit with a knife to him, and he's like, tell me.
So here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
This guy, and I want you to know this because you might not have picked up on it, but it turns out he's the fucking doctor.
I figured as much.
When somebody comes in complaining about his rabbits being killed, but he's wearing rubber gloves as if he's spent all day killing rabbits, maybe look into his story a little bit more deeply.
Yeah, he did have like long ass science gloves on.
Yep.
I figured,
and galoshes. Like, what are you wading through?
I figured he was the doctor right away because he's still in the goddamn town.
Yeah, he's the only one. They make a point of being like, why are you the only one here?
I was like, oh, well, the animals. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Open the cages. Let them go.
You can get more animals literally anywhere.
Yeah.
They grow in the woods.
So yeah, he had no problem just chilling in this town where all hell is breaking loose.
Yeah.
And then like he leads him into that room and disappears. It's like, okay, well that was the doctor.
Here's my shitty problem.
You had him.
Yeah, you knew. When he didn't want to go down there because he wanted them to want to go down there anyway. Here's my problem with this interrogation scene, right? The guy speaks English and you're trying to get information out of him. You speak Russian. He probably doesn't speak Russian because he's German. Don't loudly talk about your interrogation tactics in English, which he speaks in front of him, and then expect him to cooperate.
Yeah. Well,
How's that?
I'm kind of glad they did because that was for me. That was for the viewer at home.
For these are Soviet Russians, and they all speak English this whole movie. There's like one Russian word this whole fucking movie.
Oh, thank you. I did not feel like reading and watching this film.
They make it unwatchable. You can't do both.
So yeah, they're trying to interrogate this old man, and he's like, everybody left because they're all been chased by the thing the doctor makes, the things he makes.
Yeah,
the things I make.
Why exactly? Also, why didn't you leave then? That's weird.
And then, No Country for Old Men guy takes over and just cuts his finger off like it's a goddamn hot dog in a rubber glove.
Why? The rabbit being mistreated obviously didn't do it for him.
No.
In terms of divulging his secrets. So we're just going to take a fingy.
Well, yeah, they take that fingy and he's in way more pain having a fingy cut than when he was shot in the leg.
Yeah, the being shot in the leg thing didn't really seem to bother him later on either.
I think he just said, oof. And he stumbled backwards and he fell. Oof.
Like somebody dapped him in the chest a little too hard.
Yeah. Oh. Knocked the wind out of me. And the blood.
I want to say also, like, I was impressed because what is this movie from 2014, 13?
13.
All right. They got away with really manhandling a live animal and a dead one in this movie.
Yeah.
He really just grabs that rabbit by the meat and slams it down on the table and puts a knife to its neck.
Really? I'm assuming it's a stuffed rabbit.
It looked alive. It looked pretty fucking alive to me.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's got like that. It's like full of water, so when you grab it, the water pushes to other parts of the rabbit, making it move. You know what I'm saying? I had like a little cat thing when I was a kid, and you like squeeze it, and the water went up into its ears, and the ears moved.
I'm not sure they had that technology back then.
Well,
I'm picturing that friggin' thing that you can buy that's like the jiggly and it folds in on itself and it's essentially just a flashlight for 12-year-olds.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not the toy at all.
It's not really a toy.
So they
Not in the sense they mean, anyway.
Yeah. They get this old man up, and he's gonna lead them to the place where the Russians are, because he knows where the Russians are.
Yeah.
Why would he know where these Russians are being held?
That's a great question.
So
why are they being held in a dank basement with no lights?
Well, first of all, what kind of buildings are they making in Russia? Or Germany? Is this?
Yeah,
I don't. It's in that gray area of Europe.
I'm pretty sure this is Germany, but it might be right. It must be right on the border because they don't drive cars anywhere.
I don't think Germany and Russia even touch.
At what point did they get here?
Either way, it's in that magic dream world where Germany and Russia just blend together.
Yeah.
This building from the outside is a very small. It's just a building.
Oh, it's an iceberg.
You go down a flight of stairs, and it's a labyrinth of tunnels that lead to a crazy big hospital building.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they go into this building.
No indication that at any point they went above ground, but yet there's windows with outside lights shining in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So they go in, and the old man's like, hey, right down there.
Let me point out also, when he runs off, there's one corridor for him to run down, and it's well lit. Where'd he go?
How did he get down this wet basement?
How did he limp his ass at the same speed the Flash runs? 50 feet just now. Because it's not like they're a long ways behind. They're right behind him. He disappears, and then 2 seconds later, you're looking down the corridor he went down.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm. Yeah, you would have heard footprints.
Yeah, also, yeah, and they would have been uneven, so you would have been able to follow him.
Echoing, wet, sloshy footprints.
Yeah, also follow the blood trail from his leaking leg.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, it doesn't seem to be much blood coming out. He seems to be all right to walk on. He didn't even have a limp
later on. He's a fucking asshole. Everything is an asshole.
So, they go down in there and
blow, hook hand.
Yeah, the old man takes off. First of all, why would you even he should be leading the way the entire way to the Russians. I'm not gonna, who's gonna get the fuck in that hole, old man? Who is gonna be like, all right, thanks for your help, old man.
Thanks for showing me 10% of the way. I guess we'll just meander around for the rest of it.
Yeah, go into your fucking Pan's Labyrinth. Peace. Hopefully David Bowie's down here. He can show us where the baby is.
Well, there's something far worse than a Minotaur in this labyrinth.
Oh, I don't know. I honestly don't think so. Bunch of dudes in rubber costumes. I think if I saw a Minotaur, I'd take the fuck off.
I would take the fuck off the second he disappears. Okay, he's clearly trying to lure us into a trap. Let's just go.
You know what I say is bomb here, cut our losses.
Yeah.
Bomb right the fuck here.
Call it in, fuck it.
Yep. What is it, 10 soldiers? We'll make 20 more.
Yeah, no problem.
Mother Russia. And then just boom, 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 boom.
It's not like we give them a choice.
Yeah. We know exactly where they are. Well, this is where all of the bad stuff is then, because...
Yeah.
Thank you. But no, they go in there, and what's around corner number 1?
Fucking Hook Hands McGee.
So, yeah. Tell me about his special attack.
His special attack is try to put the knives in you. I don't know.
It's not.
What is it? What's his?
Touch every wall.
Oh, yeah, his favorite thing to do is touch walls. Oh, he comes into that corridor, and he, instead of attacking people, just decides he hates brick.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, fucking spends the first 10 seconds of this fight just making fake sparks on every wall with his blades.
And then he throws his arms behind the camera and touches all the air around the camera person.
Yeah, he doesn't touch fucking Dimitri once, despite the fact he's clearly... within inches of the actual camera itself with his swings.
Yeah, and nobody makes any effort to sort of duck or dodge or move. He just reaches around the camera. I think he bumps the microphone, which gives you that, the mic, fades out like it's going...
thing,
like it's going deaf.
With a flashbang just now?
Yeah, because that happens when you bump any microphone. See? Check it out.
See?
Y'all went deaf for a second.
Every time you bump a microphone, you just get bars and tone.
So, yeah, you got that. And then, what's worse? A second one.
Oh, gee. And fucking guy tries to bayonet him, and you could tell the bayonet's fake, and the blood splatter is fake, and it really has no effect at all.
Mm-hmm. This really... It looks like when you go into a haunted house and the actors have been specifically told they can't touch you.
Yes. So they just get as close as possible.
Yeah, that's all this is just...
Yeah.
Yeah, the hook hands guy touches every fucking wall like he's got OCD. And then another one comes out and does like a boogie dance.
Yeah,
and then
just sort of like walks in a direction.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of the monsters in this, instead of attacking people, just walk in directions.
They do. There's one point there where they like round a corner and they come to like a set of stairs, and then you just got like praying mantis claws coming down, which was kind of spooky because it seemed like he was a big bulky dude. And you see the claws coming down.
Nah, it's just to do with crab hands.
Yeah, well, you don't even get to see because the camera turns around and then somebody shoots behind him.
The camera doesn't turn around, okay? The camera cuts to a completely new shot and scene.
Oh, oops. Well,
it looks like it's turning around, but nah.
It's just one of those,
It's almost in a different room entirely.
It's like one of those whip cuts.
Yeah.
A lot of whip cuts.
The problem is the cut happens before the whip.
Uh-oh.
So, defeats the purpose.
Purpose defeat us.
Now, you know what it's like to do a good whip cut.
Oh, right? Yeah.
You know what it's like to just flip the camera on a tripod and hide the fact that you just cut a shot.
Well, yeah, you gotta do that.
And you can make it look seamless. And you're just some guy.
Hey, it's not hard. It's not hard to do.
Big movie budget behind you that could do a much better job than that. How about if you're going to have 6 monsters on scene, orchestrate them like, I understand that they're all extras. This is important to note. The monster designs for this movie come from an idea a guy had in 2001, where he didn't have the budget for it, so he crowdfunded extras so that he could make costumes for them. So they just copy-pasted that. I'm inclined to think that they use the same fucking extras because they all clearly have dementia.
You would hope, but here they all have different names.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. There's only like 7 monsters, and we got the credits pulled up, and I'm seeing like 20 different names for things. And half of them don't even exist in the movie. What's Little Mosquito? I don't think there was blood sucking at any point in this movie.
What's T-35? I didn't see a giant Tylenol pill or a wrapper.
I was picturing a Terminator.
Okay, well, I didn't. You know what? Maybe
an early Terminator.
Well, guess what? We're gonna get into this, but a lot of these look like the failed RoboCop. You remember RoboCop, where they like bring out all the failed ones? That's what I picture, because you get like big clamp hands, swastika, like robot. They all look like RoboCops that are all fucked up.
A lot of these fucking things have been designed so that they can't see shit, which defeats the purpose of having them.
They all seem very gimpy.
And they all just have like, some of them have just like giant metal helmets with no eye holes. So like, what are you just going by smell?
Well, that's...
How are they not running into things constantly? One of them is literally just like a tank on legs from Metal Slug.
I fucking love that thing.
It looks like an old school scuba diver's outfit.
Its name is Hans.
Back when you needed the bellows and shit.
Well, yeah, I described a lot of these as Big Daddy from BioShock.
Beastie Boys, Intergalactic Iron Maiden.
Yep. So, yeah, you got like Marilyn Manson's circus stilt arm Nazis.
I liked circus stilts.
Okay. And so these circus stilt arm Nazis, it's got the I'm guessing that's mosquito, and because it's got
because the plague doctor bullshit mask thing.
It's a drill. It's a big drill coming out of its face.
That makes sense, I guess.
And for it to use that drill, it basically has to mount you like it's about to put a baby in your belly.
Yeah, well, it is.
It has to like get up on you and.
Well, it's a proboscis. It's injecting as well.
Dr. Frankenstein just fucking put some thought into these.
You go into his place and he's just got porn playing. Like 24/7. He's not in the best of mindsets.
He's just slapping things together. Like, none of these monsters seem that effective.
No, they don't.
They're all very close range monsters.
They can't walk with any speed because they're all top heavy. Well, and they can't fucking see.
At one point, they just come across one that's no legs and it's just Spike helmet and crawling across the floor.
Yeah.
What's his job? Because you see him crawling through, and then another scene he's like coming through, and then he goes down the chute.
What you don't see is the mop attached to the bottom of his torso. He's the janitor. He made one whose job it is to just push a cart full of bodies around 24/7.
Well, everybody needs a job.
The one chick is a hairdresser.
Everybody needs a job, Jay. This is what you're forgetting.
Well, this is all fucking... So all these monsters happen.
There's one that is a fucking early C-3PO body with a bear trap head.
Yep.
And he made that. It's like, somebody's gonna give this thing a hug.
Yeah, by mistake.
And it's the guy who gets his helmet crushed to his head.
You gotta get real close and stand still for that to be effective at all.
Oh, for sure. And apparently the biggest guy in this group falls for the trick. Because like you see him and the camera turns back and then it turns back and this thing's got him by the head. And
you don't get to see the actual clamping process. It's just, let's just... And I guarantee you during those turns there were cuts.
For sure.
I promise you that.
There has to be. He was there and then he wasn't there and then he was there.
When one of the fucking mosquito guys shows up, it's just a cut to him right face first in the camera. Mm-hmm. Where did he come from?
Well,
and then where did he go? Because they disappear. Like, this whole scene, while this shit's going down and the fucking grenades are going off and shit, this is when there's a fast forward, there's that dumb cut, and there's a pause frame for 5 seconds. Also, half of them just disappear. Like, fucking Dimitri pans over to see a guy who's frightening, and then we just forget he exists. Because he's not back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's very much just
like a very... things to do?
It's a very bad haunted house. Yeah. This is like a haunted house that a public school put on to raise money for their field trip.
Yeah. I half expect there to be a fucking lemonade stand outside of this fucking hospital facility.
Cobwebs and flashing lights is all. That's all you need to see.
Plastic spiders and the shitty web that never sticks to anything. It's made out of like cotton and string.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although when they do throw that grenade, like that's a pretty realistic grenade explosion, I think.
Which, when they throw the grenade at the creature and then the explosion happens on the far left where the grenade didn't land?
No, the one where they, it's like right at this part, they're being attacked and like dude like spits on the grenade and like throws it on the ground and they run out of the room.
And they run out of the room?
And like the room, like that was fairly realistic.
All right, that's fine.
The other one, there was a definite cut and then the grenade went off far to the side.
And then also, during that scene, there was a grenade just at Dimitri's feet, and he was standing maybe 5 feet away from it, and he was just fine after that explosion.
Hey man, that's the magic of war.
Apparently that camera also doubles as a riot shield.
So yeah, all this is going on, and then all of a sudden, they're safe.
Well, they crawl into a hole that apparently none of the monsters who have eyes got to see them do.
That's later in the film.
Oh, it's later. See, I'm getting my
you're getting your horror
Deus
shows.
Ex Machina escapes mixed up.
There you go.
My bad.
So yeah, they go from being in this underground nightmare to being back at the church.
Right.
And they're eating some meat, which I assume is the rabbit.
It is.
Which what did they just take that shit into the hole?
They must have put it in a backpack or something. All right, ditch the ammo. Well, you got all that room after throwing all these grenades.
Fair enough. All right. So there's a bump in the night. Some people show up who are, look, I don't want to, they're hiding from Nazis.
They are.
That's all we'll say.
One of them has brown hair and a very fair complexion and is a female.
And she has I would say a French accent of some kind.
Uh-oh. She's an adult, though, so it can't be Anne Frank.
Well, that's not what I was getting at. I was just saying...
joke I was making.
So
Vasya sees one woman who's not 80 years old for the first time all week, and his first thought is, I'm going to rape it.
Well, he tries really hard to make the scene weird.
He really has no problem doing it.
And the woman tells them, A, that these things are undead, and B, that he's just going to keep making more. So, like, just go. All right, well, fuck it. We're outnumbered. Peace. All right. Good luck, town. There's nobody even here, so why do we fucking care?
Yeah. Maybe just leave.
So
and then, the helmet removal scene.
The woman's like, hey, I'm a nurse, and she makes this deal where she'll like, I'm gonna try and get that helmet off, and in exchange, the movie is not gonna become unwatchable.
Now,
it's a pretty good exchange for me. The deal they made, they shouldn't have had to make it, to be honest. But hey, she gets that helmet off.
Here's the thing, right? Now, in her defense, she did say that she could get the helmet off. She also, though, said, "I can save your friend." So did she specify that those were the same thing? Nope.
So what's the problem? She did one of those things. She did
one of the things for sure. I wasn't too concerned about the second.
Yeah, I can get the helmet off. or I can save your friend. Turns
She
out
just forgot the word. That makes sense.
it's like, oh God, what's that movie? Signs, where the truck and the tree are the only thing keeping this guy's guts together.
Yeah.
That helmet was the only thing keeping this man's brain.
Now,
There.
where did the top of his skull go? Because inside that helmet, there's no skull top or scalp.
He got his skull top peeled back.
When? Where?
Maybe the inside of his skull is the same color as the helmet. I'm just trying to help the
Skulls
movie.
are dark green. At this point in the movie, one of the monsters gets lowered by a bunch of wires, in very close proximity to everyone, and nobody hears or sees that.
Gets lowered by wires.
Yeah, they cut up, or they fucking whatever. The camera moves up to the sniper chilling up top, and then in behind him, you get to see one of the monsters just whoop right down.
I missed that
On fucking
completely.
I saw it so hard that I took a picture of it and sent it to a bunch of people, and I circled the wires, and I just said wires.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So nobody notices the monster being lowered. Again, how did his brain end up detached from the rest of his body? It doesn't make any fucking sense in a helmet. And why is Vasya so interested in rape? Because the next thing he does, if he wasn't stopped, would have been rape.
Well, he beats the living goo out of her.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that doesn't detract from his earlier interests. It just makes them easier to fulfill.
yeah. And so when he dies, it was kind of like a high five.
It was.
But yeah, so this guy gets his skull cap peeled way back, and his brain comes out, and that's that.
It is.
They go, "Whoops,
Oh well.
I'm sorry." Ha!
Fucking Vasya's like, well, that was a waste of time or some shit like that.
Here's the thing, just put it back in.
It's probably fine.
That kind of shit happens later in the film.
Yeah, fucking doctor puts it right back in and he's cool. He's just really good at using a hammer now.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking industrial era. He's just a laborer.
Oh my God. Yeah, so the drill wielding Nazi shows up, and he's got stilt arms and praying mantis claws and a drill nose. All my notes are me just being like, another monster shows up, and and it drags the cameraman off.
All my notes are just me writing in huge dark words, boring.
What I can only describe as a Nazi house haunt takes place, complete with flashing lights and actors who can get right in your face. Explosions, grenades, Nazis with root. I think I just started scribbling words. I don't even know what that says. And then one of the reject RoboCops from the first movie shows up with a swastika on it and meanders up some stairs looking like a Nazi Big Daddy from BioShock.
Yeah, and then the sniper gets fucking throated.
He sure does.
And that's bye-bye to Sniper. It was the only character I liked in the whole movie.
And then there's just, they throw a grenade and it goes off in the spot where it didn't land, and there's a cut.
Yep.
And then there's a film reel change.
Yeah.
And then they go down this flight of stairs that they didn't know was there, but have found amongst
It was hiding like under a gun. I don't know.
It was underneath it was like in Breaking Bad where they had to push the washing machine aside to get to it was like that. They had to move a cart or something.
John Wayne Gacy's crawl space door.
Yeah. And so the second film reel picks up and it's like, oh, we found this radio jammer in this bag. You know what? I decided to just go through this bag. What a battle, guys. Now, let me open this bag.
Here's my thing, right?
This isn't my bag.
So there's, when they're having the argument about who's in charge and shit. Anyway, it turns out that Dimitri's the one in charge. He's the fucking superior officer because he works directly underneath Stalin, like I said before. A couple of these guys are dubious of this dude because he's just filming, like he's not really participating in the actual defending yourself from murder during war part. I would have been going through that motherfucker's bag the second he fell asleep. Hey, what's this? A radio jammer? That's weird. I can't use my radio. What's
funny is he picks up like, oh, this is a radio jammer.
You just know that.
For sure. I've seen radio jammers, and this metal block is fucking our radios up, guys.
So this is when you're supposed to get the big twist, where he's like, actually, we're here to rescue the doctor at any cost, and there's no fucking people because I sent out the signal myself. And then also, you guys, we got your wife and kids, so you better comply or else you know what's gonna happen. And then he gets thrown down a fucking body chute later.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I would too.
Yeah.
So he reveals like, hey, I led you to this hell house, and it's all blah, blah, blah. Secret mission. let's go to the doctor's base.
There's a point before they go into the hole where I got super confused. I had to watch it about 4 times because Dimitri gets dragged away by a monster.
Yeah.
And then someone picks up the camera.
Yup.
And then he's just back.
Thank you. Yep.
He just sure is back like nothing happened.
An explosion goes off, and then you see the monster that dragged him off with one arm being like, oh no.
Oh, that sucks.
Whoopsie poopsie. Yeah, so they get the old man who was hiding with his family.
Yeah.
To lead them to this place. And boy oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Boy oh boy. Is it ever full of corpses. For some reason they've been right on top of this church the entire time.
Yeah.
Where it's like it was right underneath them. And they go 1 floor down and it's just a pile of corpses.
Who the fuck is out? Like, it's 20 guys in this whole town, probably. What kind? This construction project must have been going on for decades.
For real.
Hand dig me 8 floors like the fucking Resident Evil science lab.
Hey, I'm gonna pick the most rural town in the world where people have never seen like an LED light before, and I'm gonna fill the basement full of whiz bangs. Let's get all these people who don't know what they're doing. You guys are gonna put this together for me.
I just want to scare everyone out of town.
Yeah.
With electricity.
So yeah, they go. How do you not smell?
From anywhere?
Like that whole town should just reek.
Yeah.
It's corpses and walking corpses.
There's a fucking nun pile out front.
There's a fucking burning nun pile.
You know?
Yeah, so they go in the basement. There's just corpses, and they're like, "Oh, let's look at all this shit." And then I don't know what happens from there.
No, I wrote nothing down until dude gets fucking thrown down the chute. I wrote, "Where do you get giant crab claws in Nazi Germany in 1945?" Because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, and they're like made out of machetes.
Someone went to Home Depot and bought a bunch of spikes and gauges to make monsters.
Another failed RoboCop shows up.
Cremation monster gets his head blown in half. That happens at some point.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. They were like chased down a hallway, and there's a spiky helmeted guy crawling. I'm just kind of reading my notes, trying to figure out where the interesting stuff happens. But yeah, there's like they encounter a Nazi whose job it is, who seems to be throwing bodies and children into a chute.
Oh, let me point out, by the way, with this old man who's leading them through the body church.
Yeah,
those hostages just appeared.
What?
At no point, so because they were above ground, right? And the fucking brain thing happens.
Yeah.
And then they go away. They go away for the entire scene, and then they're back once they're down the hole.
Hey, man.
They're not in any shot between those two things.
If you keep pulling that thread, this sweater's going to fall apart.
Listen, this is not.
It's going to be chilly armpits this winter.
Value Village wouldn't even accept this sweater at this point. All right?
This sweater's holy. This has got some moth holes in it.
Whoever wore this sweater last fell asleep with a cigarette too many times.
The robot that whose job it is to throw people down the chute.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Wall-E. And then they blow his fucking head off. And like his head is an egg. Because it just pops wide open.
It does.
And they do that in front of this child.
Yeah, they do. They also put a gun to that child's head.
Oh, yeah. First of all, they're like, oh, man, we got to save that kid. Let's traumatize him.
Yeah.
And then they dangle him down the fucking chute.
Yeah, they do.
They go, no, we just show you, just tell us what's down there.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
What's down there?
Well, it's bodies.
Yeah, what else?
Well, it's Dimitri, eventually.
Propeller Head Man.
Yeah, Propeller Head Man is also down that chute. That's a nice guy.
He's not down there at first. Actually, he is, because he's just standing there.
He's one of my flavor favorites.
He is. He's one of the more memorable things you see in this film.
Because he doesn't make a lick of fucking sense.
Nope.
If your entire ability to exist is controlled by one wire that pumps fuel into you, that's literally an Achilles heel.
Oh my God.
You could not have more in behind the propellers where you can't see your demise coming. That's bad design.
See, look, in this Frankenstein...
This doctor's not a mechanical engineer.
In this Frankenstein's Army...
Yeah.
He's major design flaw.
It's fucking stupid to have...
It is.
He can't even get, there's no way he's fitting through doorways. He's got giant spinning blades on him at all times.
One snip and that dude just went up in flames.
Yeah. I don't know how the fuck... He's just got a pilot light at his feet. because the fire comes from below.
Yeah.
The wire's right up top on his shitty head.
I don't know how that works. I don't think it's combustible when it touches air either.
No.
So yeah, they like dangle this boy down there, and you can see that dude's feet through the like, I don't know what you call it, those like with the tassels.
Yeah.
The fringe.
For those listening at home, picture a baggage claim. At the airport, the thing that your suitcase comes out of, those little flip-floppies that dangle from the top.
So those
looks like somebody shredded a mud flap.
So those are there,
Yeah.
and you can see this propeller head man's feet through them.
Yep.
And it starts up. They don't drag the boy up immediately. They kind of just the smoke fill up in the room, and then there's a bunch of cuts. And then the propeller head man explodes, and you see the old man takes the propeller right to the dome.
Yeah, he does.
Which was hilarious because he kind of stumbles out and they laugh at him and then he falls. Really heroic men. And then
like Dimitri's whole job throughout this movie is just to film war crimes.
Yeah, pretty much.
To build a case to put these people to death when they get home.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't happen, does it?
No, well, they don't get home.
Nobody makes it home. They're like, finally, there's like, well, that's enough. We're done here. That was far too much. First of all,
it was enough at the nun pile for me.
Oh boy.
It was enough at the nun pile and man tank. I would have been like, let's go back to the LZ. Pickup's coming.
I would have ran. I'd be like, I'm gonna run home and tell people the radio's not working.
Yeah.
Well,
I got this.
Let me hoof it. I'm gonna hoof this information back. But the fact that the propeller guy didn't like just take off and start flying around, that's kind of what I was hoping for. But
you wanted his head to just start flying around like a goddamn sentry drone.
I just want to smash into things. Like it's a bad design.
It is. It's a fucking, again, top heavy dude.
And he's designed to hug people and then turn on, or what's his job?
You can't, even if you were to approach him from behind, like you're gonna hear him from a fucking mile away.
Oh yeah,
he's the easiest to avoid thing on the planet Earth.
You could hear airplanes like miles up.
Yeah,
you know when they're passing. You know when this guy's coming down the street
in a different city.
So they punch Dimitri and they throw him down that chute where those flaps have now disappeared.
That's the other thing too, is like a lot of these monsters are just wading, if you will, through blood and guts constantly. Yeah, and if they slip and fall, they're done for the day.
Somebody's got to find them and help them back up.
Yeah.
We're like, where did legs torso go? I gotta go find the one that's just legs attached to a fucking toaster.
I need help. Can you get the one with the most legs?
Get the one that's got the crane hook coming out of its forehead.
It's like a goddamn like Toy Story.
Yeah, exactly.
This movie's basically if that kid grew up. That's what these monsters are. That horrible kid fucking putting weird toys together.
This is literally the best way to describe it, because that's all this shit is. Yep. That's all this fucking movie is.
Bad choices of assembly.
So after failing to climb up the very, very easy walking, like old people would breeze up that hill.
They dangle the kid down and he makes, like his body is probably half the length of the chute, okay? There's 2 panels to this chute. If Dimitri were to stretch out, he could probably, with his fingers, grab the top and pull himself out. But no, he decides to try and run up on the bloodiest spot once. Well, I'm stuck.
That's that then.
Yeah. And so he just fucking yells after the people. He goes, you'll all be shot anyway. Like, they're going to be like, you know what? He's right. We better go back and get him.
Yeah. That's just not, it's not motivating me to come help you.
Yeah. That's weird, right?
How about we don't get shot? Then maybe I help you.
And then the movie takes a turn where even the things that made a small amount of sense no longer make sense. Because the first monster that Dimitri sees after he makes that stupid missive film for his family, who's never going to see it, because if it gets recovered by the Soviet government, it's most definitely going to be destroyed. So why would you even bother? Hey, my wife and child, who I negotiated your safety in order to do this, here's me condemning you to death. Because I'm telling you about what's happening.
My bad.
Oh, gee, I just undermined my entire point.
Yep.
The first monster you see doesn't even attack him.
No,
he's just a body pusher.
He takes his bag. Takes his bags and walks off.
Thanks for the
And at that point, you take that bag.
Please have it.
What's in there I don't need.
Not nearly important enough for me to try and get back.
Yeah, you know what? You have that bag if you boost me up the chute. How about that?
Guess what? I won't make a fuss if you give me a push.
Yeah, but no, you know what? Let's chase the monster that's been ripping my friends apart.
For just no reason.
Yeah, hey, hold up, buddy. That's my bag. Funny enough, at work yesterday, a dude had to come in and be like, hey, I need you to call the cops because an old man just took off with my bag. So I came home and I watched that movie and I was like, oh, wow.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same guy.
Life is funny.
Not to derail this enthralling conversation about this film, but everyone in this city is having their catalytic converter stolen. It's happened to about 4 people I know in the past week.
Well, I'll tell you what. That sounds like it's the thing that makes you go back in time for your car.
It's the thing that charges the battery when the car is on. It is very valuable because it's got nickel and like palladium and shit and cadmium in it.
Palladium?
Yeah.
Like
precious minerals that are worth a lot of money to a scrapper.
And not like the giant arcade, like the Dave and Buster's.
No, that's the palladium. This is palladium. It's on the periodic table.
I don't care then.
Yeah, so motherfuckers just be hacksawing them apart. One of our vans had it stolen. One of at my roommate's work, it happened right in the fucking parking lot. It happened to somebody in Komoka, 2 people in Komoka actually, which is not too far from here. It's like a 20-minute drive. So yeah, put your car in the driveway.
Yep, that sounds about right. Maybe just don't have a car.
Or that. I mean, I need one, but...
Nah.
At this point in the movie, though, I wrote down, just film the interior of any Russian building.
Yeah.
Just film the inside of any building in Russia, and you've made this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because at this point, you're in a meat mine.
Yeah.
And it's just like, guys, just fucking
it just looks
monsters.
Like the inside of a building.
Yep.
Sick.
He goes through
Let's
a
film
door.
It for fucking 15 minutes.
Yep. Fucking, that's it. But yeah, no, he goes through some door, he goes through another door, and then he's in a hospital.
Yeah.
Where like the I would say the horrible monsters are less horrible up here. They seem like they're they're the ones that sort of came out a little easier.
These are the outdoor monsters.
Yeah, these are the show monsters.
Yeah. This is the ones you put in the front of the deli shelf.
Yeah. You put those ones out front, but then you still give them the ones that you are slaving in the basement.
Yeah.
The horrible ones.
It's the old bait and switch.
Yep. And then he's up in this fucking, I don't know. In comparison, it is a very nice hospital. Compared to what we've been dragged through this entire film.
Bombed out factory after shitty shack with a wood door that doesn't close properly.
It seems like
a nice hospital.
Yeah, the cleanest place yet.
Where you could do surgery and the best that you can hope for is like a minor infection, but that's better than anywhere else.
So the first door he goes through.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Is this the just a house down there part?
No.
Where someone is clearly living?
That's the next door.
Oh, this is the showers, I guess. No, not yet.
Lady bear.
Oh yeah, head on a teddy bear.
Head on a teddy bear, but also like guts in the teddy bear too, because that whole thing is moving. I
missed the guts in the teddy bear part. I just saw the head and the eyes.
I think its leg around. Like kicks a little bit.
All right. So that's a weird experiment. Don't know how you get a body into a bear like that.
And in the credits, it is credited as like mommy bear. So the theory is like that's his mom that he made a teddy bear out of.
Weird choice.
Yeah.
To have that just in your place.
That seems like the most out of all the surgeries, that seems like the most difficult one. Out of everything he's done, it's like that seems like that's the crown jewel right there.
You know, doctors aren't really allowed to operate on family members because it's a conflict of interest. You can't like put your emotions aside when you're cutting the head off of your own mother.
Well, this isn't medical.
Again with the Oedipus though, because he put it on a fucking teddy bear, which I assume was his childhood toy.
Probably.
Mom's head, childhood toy. He probably puts his dick in that thing.
Let's keep that thing in a glass box.
Yeah.
Like a incubator.
And then I think, so when I said the guy just had fucking hot and cold running hardcore porn on tap, I wasn't joking because you can just hear it as he's walking through this area.
Yeah.
There's like old German vinyl record and then porno.
I was thinking that might have been like the head breathing and just making a really weird raspy sound, but
it sounded like fucking moans to me.
Well, maybe it's a pleasure bear.
It's definitely a pleasure bear. It's got his mom's head on it.
They walk in, he goes to the next room, and it's like the dude's living room. There's like a couch.
Yeah.
And there's like throw pillows on the couch, and then you see like Frankenstein, and the guy's like, oh man, Frankenstein. Oh, neat. It's neat. It's a neat thing.
Well, nothing's deterred him up to this, but he's already seen horrible abominations.
And then there's some fucking slop on the pot cooking.
Yeah, which immediately I was like, there's body parts in that shit, and he's eating them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and then they try to bury that lead for like another 20 minutes.
Ugh. Just dig the lead up.
Yeah, dig it right up.
Dig it up and attach it to the dog. Let's go for a walk. Walk the fuck out of here.
Giant body freezer. Dimitri gets up close to horrible deactivated monsters and then surprised when one wakes up.
I don't even think that was a deactivated monster. I think that was just a dude.
Well, they were fucking standing there. There's two of them. And he gets right up close to him, and then they fucking wake up and attack him like, oh, what a shocker.
I was thinking before that he's in that giant, that freezer room, and there's just like a dude in the thing, and he's just speaking like Russian.
Yeah.
And he's just saying things. And
why?
And then the guy just starts like pushing the cart.
Again, with the like, why is he not being attacked by these things? That's the part that I don't get. You know? Yeah. Matt's shrugging 4 times in a row. I want everybody to know that.
Frankensteins Army. He gets that, and then he wakes up some other monster.
There's another shot where it's fast forwarded.
And then all of the sudden, everybody's on him.
The monsters, yeah.
That now they're like, wait a minute, that was a guy.
Like one had like a built-in wireless alarm or something that woke all the others up from a nap.
It was like everybody was slacking, and then one monster actually started picking up the slack, and everybody was like, oh wait, hold on, us two.
Yeah.
I don't want to be caught slacking if you're doing work.
And let me tell you what sucks about this whole part. Your
Life is being threatened and you're running for it.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's a movie, let's pause and stand so that we make sure we get a good shot of this monster.
We need, Stalin needs it.
And let's do this a baker's dozen of times in 5 minutes, thus ruining any urgency you had built about this situation.
You raise good points. But.
Oh, there's a but.
If he didn't do that, we wouldn't be able to appreciate how dumb all these monsters are.
That's the other.
That's
if you had gone a little faster, there might have been a little bit of mystery, thus making the monsters scarier. But nah, I see front, back, top, and bottom of every single one of these. I can tell it's just a man in a suit.
I see mesh ping pong ball eyes.
Yeah, dude.
I see prosthetic.
Your head is
latex.
an overturned bucket, painted gold.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So yeah, that happens. And if you like look online, you'll only ever see pictures of the good looking monsters.
Yeah, of course.
The show monsters are always up front.
So I believe this is around the time that he runs into Ivan, who is just a hammer with a body at this point.
Yes. Yep.
You'll notice that his head is still intact, and his eyes are fucked up, and he's not happy. And Dimitri doesn't pick up on any of these red flags. Mm-hmm. His favorite thing is red flags because the Soviet flag is red, but he ignores every other kind.
Yeah, I'm like, if I were to see you, knowing that your
brain was just recently out of my head,
your skull cap peeled back.
Yeah.
Probably not going to approach you, considering all of the other things that I have seen and am running from.
Yeah.
Because you're not a friendly face when you look like a monster.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, I'll go around. But no, he like lets him punch him in the face with a hammer hand.
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
Hammer hands him in the face. Also, fucking doctor put a hook on the other hand for no good reason.
Well, yeah, he can't even pick the things up that he's hammering.
It's a hammer and sickle joke, I think.
Son of a bitch.
I think.
Just like Dead Snow.
Yeah.
All right.
Here we are again, right?
Tying it all up in a nice, neat bow.
And that's when you get to see the fake camera crack lens thing.
Yeah.
And then in the next scene, the camera is just fine.
Yeah. Something they do to hide cuts in this movie is when he swaps out like the telephoto lens and it like zooms in.
Yeah.
And obviously that's a way they've definitely been hiding cuts.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
It's funny that they tried to hide cuts in some places and then didn't care to in the majority of the movie. Why even bother having that fucking film reel effect thing? I gotta swap the... Also, at what point during a heavy battle scene do you have a chance to fucking swap the canister out, alright? That just... It takes minutes! It's like fucking loading a muzzle gun.
And like, you probably can't expose that to light either. So you gotta like...
Probably. I gotta find... Hang on, I gotta find a dark room, guys. You got this.
Who's got a blanket I can go underneath? So yeah, there's a bunch of like quick little cuts and like, ooh, blah blah blah. Here's some film that we recorded over. Just kidding. It's in there still somehow. And then we cut to just this guy sitting at a table,
meeting Doc, and then Doc feeds him a thing called Eintopf, which I looked up, and that's just traditional German gumbo.
Neat. That's delicious. That's what he feeds the zombies.
The difference with this, though, and this is the doctor saying it himself, he adds his own special ingredients to the recipe. Now that's humans. That's for sure humans. You know how I know? Because nobody wants to eat it. Anytime anybody's eating this shit who isn't the good doc, it's got to be force-fed into their face. Like a lot of it, too.
I mean...
That's going to give me a tummy ache.
You don't see the zombies eating it, but yeah, definitely...
He does mention that they have to eat, though.
Yeah, they have to eat.
And that he feeds them that.
Well, it's better than them eating him.
That's true. For some reason, they only obey him. He also mentions that. Don't know at what point you programmed that in. That didn't really fucking track for me.
No, I kind of lost. I mean, not that I lost it anywhere else, but like... When I saw that, I was like, oh, all right.
One of the monsters, you get to, now he's filming through the lab and the guy's explaining all the fucking work that he's doing.
Yeah, so yeah, after he force feeds him that terrible paste.
Yeah.
Like one of the fucking horrible Nazi things comes in and like holds his head.
Yeah.
Like, ew. I'll eat it. Don't touch me. Yeah, so then he's like, I got to get you strong so you can come on this tour and show everybody my work.
I'm not sure that's how strength works, but thank you.
Yeah, and he ends up going on this fucking tour of the Nightmare Factory.
With R2-D2 as the assistant.
Oh my god, R2-D2 is right alongside.
It's like R2-D2 and the new R2-D2 put together.
There is a robot, and I think it's in like the first one, like episode 1, and it's just legs and I don't know. It looks like the fifth angel from Evangelion, but with legs. And it just like walks around.
Yeah. Well, that's what we got here.
Yep.
I don't know how that's useful, aside from being like a coffee table.
Yeah, it doesn't...
A moving coffee table.
It's just like a bunch of motor parts in a tub with some legs.
Fake footsteps.
Okay.
Footsteps added in post for almost every monster in this movie.
Okay.
Because now they're just milling about doing things, and all of the footsteps, they wanted them to be a heavier sound than they were. So instead of giving them weighted boots... we'll just put them in post. He opens a door, and I remember the fucking creak from Counter-Strike.
Oh, no.
Which is a PC game. You open a fucking door, and it sounds like that. It's like a metal gate at some point. It's like in Half-Life and shit.
Okay.
So fuck you. I'm just gonna say that.
Well, that's a little rude. I don't know.
When Dimitri's getting dragged away, I noticed on my second watch of this movie because I begrudgingly decided I wanted a refresher.
I didn't even finish my refresher. I got halfway into my refresher. I'm like, just fucking come over.
I was reading stories of people maliciously complying with demands on Reddit while I was half-assed watching it.
Okay.
I noticed while Dimitri was getting dragged away, though, that there are some bullet hole post effects where you see like the dust kick up and stuff.
Oh yeah.
When the fucking bullet hits the ground, but there's no marks on the floor after. So they didn't even try. They didn't even try half this fucking movie. I need to know. I need you to know that.
Oh, I was aware.
Jesus. Half the fucking budget for this movie was spent on wires.
I was aware they didn't try on this movie the second I saw a dude squatting to shit while people marched by them. I was like, this is this kind of movie. And then I was made aware again when that fucking scythe-handed motherfucker just was like, and just didn't touch. That's me touching walls, by the way.
You know, when like villains in superhero movies have to do like a challenge pose before you actually start fighting. That's what that was like.
That's what it seemed very much like. It was very Power Rangers-esque.
Yeah.
When the villains want to move around a lot without doing anything.
When you win a round of Mortal Kombat and there's just like the fucking this person wins screen and they fucking do some shit and say a word.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Dear God. Anyway, during this whole fucking here's the lab and here's the generator scene, I wrote down that half of the budget for this movie was spent on wires.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God.
Well, it's a lab, Jay.
You'd think that machines ran exclusively on wires. It's just wires in there. Hey, I'm going to go to Canadian Tire and I'm going to get a 50-foot roll of wires. 30 seconds later, I've built an airplane.
And it's like speaker cable, too.
Yeah.
It's definitely like... Well, these currents got to go from one spot to another, Jay. I don't know what to tell you. How else do you move electricity around a robot?
It's like a goddamn fucking old telephone switchboard. Like me when I had 4 consoles hooked up to a fucking RCA switch.
I remember
and you just
that.
press different buttons to get to the different... There's just a jumble of shit.
Like
I spilt spaghetti.
Yeah, this lab is a mess. He's just got monsters slapping monsters together.
Yeah, which is, you're not gonna... it's the fucking Family Guy episode with Bitch Stewie.
Yeah.
And then he tries to make a Bitch Brian, and it just sucks.
At one point, the doctor picks up some shit. I don't know. He just pulls the body part out and he's like, here, use this. And he just slaps it down for the robot. And he's like, all right.
No direction on how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You knew what I was doing.
It's just going to be an hour and a half of that monster fucking slamming the nub end of a hand.
What did he want me to do?
I don't get it. It's not. That's why they're so pissed all the time.
Well, yeah, they're Nazis and there's no direction. Yeah, so he's just like fucking making stuff.
Yeah.
Doing stuff. Making stuff.
Pushing around some parts every so often. We get to hear the fucking story, which is I have a proposition for you. Come work for the Soviets because we'd like you to. Also, here comes my military because you can hear them outside.
Yeah, he puts that on like it's supposed to put the pressure on. It's like, yeah, if you don't work for us, boom, 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 boom.
Uh-ohs.
At one point, he walks up to another, like, big old exoskeleton. Looks a lot like a failed RoboCop again.
Yeah.
Just fire that up. Show me that in this film. I want to see that walk around.
Give me the tank.
Like, even if it does the RoboCop and falls over right away, at least you tried.
Yeah, you gave me something.
Like, you don't show me that and then be like, yeah, it doesn't work yet. Don't worry about it.
The sound is just, and this is the thing that you brought up before, but like, that was when like a grenade went off. It just becomes poor quality sound during this scene for no reason at like random times.
Yeah. It's gotta be the old timey microphone.
Yeah.
Like even if they try really hard to make you believe.
People who don't know how cameras work, who are in charge of trying to make cameras work.
When they're first interviewing like the doctor, he's even like, "Hey, is that a microphone? I ain't never seen a microphone before. Are you taking audio?
Fancy type cameras in this town.
Normally we just have moving pictures we play piano next to."
A man falls, and we all chuckle.
Anyway.
They love Buster Keaton in Germany, I bet.
This motherfucker's never seen a microphone before, but he's got a machine that brings people back from the dead. So I think he's took a fucking hop, skip, jump over the microphone and right to...
He missed that lecture.
Oh my God.
Fucking, we're just cutting people's skull caps off so that we can fuse brains together and see what happens.
Peeling them way back. The idea is... You take half a Nazi, half a...
communist.
And when you put them together...
What happens?
That's going to heal a nation.
Oh, that's his motivation
He was like, this is going to bring everybody together when I slap these two half-brains together. And by the way, so haphazard.
It's a fun cat noise.
My cat's shitting.
Oh, good.
Give her a second.
I don't know why she's got a fucking slam dance in the litter box while she's shitting.
Thanks, Joj.
Yeah.
So
very polite of you.
This doctor is just like haphazardly just like slapping. He just fucking pops the brain in there and then he's like, oh, wait a minute.
There's too much of that.
Yeah, what's he say? He says it's been fused perfectly and then he's like, oh, wait,
that's too much.
There's a little bit too much in the front here. Let me snip that out.
He just digs it out with his like fingers and a steel hook.
Yeah, that'll do. I think he uses the phrase like, this ought to be all right here.
That was when you get to see like the only female monster in this whole movie, which is, I mean, she looks like Frankenstein's bride, obviously, so I get it. Mm-hmm. But her whole job is to just shave people's heads. Yeah. So sexist, but it's all good.
I at some point during this whole scene, this guy, this fucking doctor, we'll call him a doctor.
Sure.
He's like, hey, man would be much more efficient if we just fucking lost the hands and had screwdrivers and hammers. And I was like, you know what, Dad? I'm going to do that. And my dad beat the piss out of me. And then he starts talking about his grandfather and how his grandfather had techniques. And so I'm assuming.
Well, his grandfather's Frankenstein.
Yeah, even though Frankenstein's a made up character, sure, yeah.
Oh, because this movie is set in real life.
Apparently it is. And he's like, my dad beat the piss out of me, and then my grandfather had some techniques. I improved them. Mm-hmm.
Debatable.
I was trying to listen. There's a whole lot of accent, and then he started talking about doing stuff to cats.
Yeah, started with cats, which is, you're a serial killer.
The Nazis were like, fuck yeah, do that to people now. Mm-hmm. And that was the story.
Part of that story was they didn't like that he was doing it to cats, so they put him in a prison camp. And then they went, that might be cool on people.
Oh.
Let's dig him out of there.
Okay.
Let's dig him right out of there.
Dig. Yeah. I gotcha. Okay. I'm again, heavy accent. I missed that whole part.
Promptly wrote down at what point do we get above ground in Doc's lab. Because there's natural light in the lab, like not even in the hospital part, just in the fucking lab.
I really enjoy that he keeps that part above ground.
The worst part of the whole construction?
You might as well have your heart on the outside of your body. Like,
you're fucking right. Like his notebook's right there.
Yeah, one bomb and you're done. So we get, I don't know, what is it, No Country for Old Men guy, and he's just like screaming, fuck you.
Yeah, because he's armless at this point. I don't think he's got legs either.
Well, he didn't need them.
He might have had legs.
Didn't.
He's missing his arms at least.
He doesn't need any of that shit.
So he's like, which one's a better communist? And he's like, that guy over there. So he fucking stabs Anton Chigurh.
Was it the bad communist he stabs?
Yes.
Yeah, because he wants the good communist for the brain.
So his death was very disappointing for me because previously in the movie, he had beaten the shit out of an old lady and tried to rape a woman. So I wanted something a little bit better than that. Better than just an injection in the heart.
Yeah.
Like turn him into a horrible thing.
Right?
But fine.
I would have liked if all of the people would have been horrible things and he came across them. By the way, this doctor's got a quick turnaround because he turned that dude who got his brain ripped out into a thing within like...
Oh, it was like 30 minutes it took.
Yeah, you scurry up there, collect the body, fucking take off with it while they were going down a flight of stairs. Like,
no worries at all. So fucking, his, the cool company guy is the one who tries to get his fucking, or that the doctor tries to fuse his brain. Doesn't really work out that well, but the dude's cheeky as fuck about it. Hey, that's a door. Woman. It's not gonna work. So he's like fucking trying to bring him back to life by fucking shocking the brain. And as the guy is screaming in agony from being electrocuted, he yells into the camera. It looks like he's having a bit of an adjustment problem.
Oh,
all right, Dick.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's got half of not his brain in there. Yeah, give him like 10 seconds.
He's fucking approaching this very casually.
So I just got back from a trip that required me to fly for 3 hours and then drive for 5 hours and then drive for 2 hours and wait for 6. And I went to bed, reasonably so, after that, right? Then I was awoken by my roommate to tell me that there was a fire in the building. I had gotten maybe 5 hours of sleep in the past 20. My point being, you ever wake up grumpy as fuck?
Yeah.
I wasn't even dead. Give him a sec.
Yeah.
Pass him a coffee or something.
Yeah. I'm sure having half your brain taken out and replaced with somebody else's.
When I woke up from my fucking leg surgery, and that was just a plate, I was disgruntled. I remember because I had to be pushed back down into bed by the nurses. So, and I was fine after that. But, you know, it sucks at first.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, like, come on. You're firing up a brain.
Yeah, dude.
It's not a PC.
You don't get to have the same level of impatience when it doesn't come right on.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm like, if this guy was a real brain surgeon, first of all, he'd be the worst one because he uses phrases like, oh shit, and that should work. That should be in no brain surgeon's vocabulary ever.
No.
Yeah, he's just
the last thing you want to hear is your surgeon go, oops.
He basically just like stapled and screwed the skull cap right back on there.
Yeah.
And like, I am so certain he didn't attach that brain to shit.
No, he just plopped it into the skull cavity.
And he's like, yeah, that's, oh God, what did he, it's like they fused together or he uses some sort of
natural,
like he's done something other than just fucking plop it down into this guy's brain.
He kind of just like put a couple organs to bed.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah. He's like,
he's tucked him in real nicely.
Yeah. Let's let this brain die now. We'll put a cap on it. Oh shit. So yeah, that experiment doesn't work right away. Believe it or not, you can't just fucking do that.
Yeah, you can't just do that.
But, you know, I'm not a surgeon. I don't fucking know. My point was just a shit fucking doctor, just grafting shit to people.
Yeah. And hoping for the best. Real spaghetti at the wall tactics here.
At some point, the cameraman passes out.
Yeah.
And wakes up
on a gurney.
Yeah. Oh man, you passed out near the guy who just puts people together? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that doctor was like, I'm going to use those parts.
Well, you know, you would assume that you'd be able to sleep safe and sound.
This doctor's a goddamn animal. You can't trust him. Look at what's happening around you. You're going to trust him to have a nap?
Right nearby?
Yeah.
He already fed you people fucking soup.
Yeah. No.
He's just going to, best case scenario, he gives you more of that.
Yeah, this is not that scenario.
Ah, shit, you're sleepy? I need your chipper. Here's some more.
Hey, look, I'm putting together a project here, and I noticed you've got guts. I have a use for guts. Now, are you gonna, my bad, I'm just gonna take them. We'll put a zipper in there, though.
Yeah.
I'm a doctor.
It's fucking the easiest screening process for any guinea pig experiment ever. You got some guts? Come on in.
Yeah, let me poke that. Oh, those are guts.
They sure are, man.
I could probably use those. Come on in.
That's sick.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people come in here lying about how many guts they have. I'm glad that you were honest on the forum.
Have a nap.
Please. So yeah, fucking he starts gearing up to do an experiment on old Dimitri here, but then the military shows up a little bit.
No, it's not even the military.
The sound of the military gets closer.
And then and as the doctor, he's gonna graft the camera into the guy's skull because he really wants Russia to see what he can do. So he's like, let me put that right in there
because that's useful to Russia.
And then that's when like I forget who. It's one of the
kid.
People. It's the kid. He comes in and he fucking takes that doctor's head clean off.
Yeah, with a bullet. And you find out, as it turns out, that kid is real good friends with Stalin. And that's why he killed the doctor. And that's why he took the camera. But what doesn't make sense is he just leaves. And he leaves Dimitri on the fucking gurney to get eaten. To get his face eaten right off.
So here's my thought. That's easy food. I'm out of here while those things are eaten.
I get that, but the guy's also got working legs and can move faster than any of these things.
Fair enough.
Let's take the guy to corroborate my story a little bit, because this is fucking insane.
Well, that's what you have all the footage for.
Thank God he got that footage.
Yeah, and by the way, he only got like one of the film reels.
Yeah, of which there were very many, as evidenced by how many times you got to see that fucking sun damage.
Yeah, the goddamn light leaks and all that shit.
He stopped for a sec to film Dimitri getting his face eaten off by Brain Man. At no point, though, does he get attacked by all of the monsters that are nearby. After the doctor said, well, once I leave, they're just going to attack whatever.
Yeah, because they only respond to him. And then as soon as he says that, he fucking gets murdered. So
also, how do you program that shit?
Exactly. It's just the lazy writing. Lazy writing.
Yeah, and then that's the end of the movie, and you just get a poorly photoshopped picture of that kid standing beside Stalin one time. And that's like the garbage twist at the end of this fucking film. Frankenstein's Army.
Yep.
4 out of 10.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. You gave it a 4, huh?
I gave it a 4 because of the monsters. That's it.
I gave it a 5.
4 for the monsters.
I gave it a 5 because I liked the idea, but I hated the film.
It didn't get a 5 for me. I was a little bit torn on that. It didn't get a 5 for me because the rest of the movie sucked so bad. In order for it to be a 5, that's average out of 10, right?
You know what?
It
Fuck
needs to at least be a movie. This barely was one.
I'm changing mine. I'm changing it. You bring up a good point. 5 is average. 3. Because this was below average. I just liked the idea.
Yep.
My enjoyment stopped at the description of the film.
Yeah. You could have just like seen a highlight reel and been like, this fine.
Watch the trailer to this movie and you've got it. You know what? Fuck it. Watch Army of Frankensteins. Watch that.
Let us know how it is, because that sounds fucking hilarious.
Holy shit. I'm surprised we necessitated 2 hours with this fucking film.
I mean, 10 minutes of that was your cat shitting. and then trying to get through a door that's locked.
That is very fair. All right.
You got recommendations for me here.
Here's
Now I realize it was probably pretty fucking difficult to get a good list going for this. It would have been for me anyway.
It was difficult. I think I've got some. I got some themes here. I got 4.
Okay.
I held up 5 fingers, but I meant to say
the thumb doesn't count.
no, it does not. It's not a finger. So yeah, it was difficult because like, what do we got? Nazis.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Russia.
We've already done Dead Snow.
Yeah, exactly.
Guess
We've done a few Nazi movies.
You know how many Nazi zombie films there are?
13 dozen.
Yeah, there's more than you know about.
Yeah.
There's more because I looked them up.
Well, here's the thing about Nazi zombie movies. I'm good after a couple.
Yeah. No, we did Dead Snow, and that's the king. That's the king of the mountain.
Man, is it Nazi zombies? All right, I've seen it.
Yeah. It's very hard to. I bet you
there's Nazi zombies in it.
Very hard to make Nazi zombies different a second time.
Yeah, unless you make them worse, like if they talk or some shit.
Oh fuck, that was Dead Snow. No. All right.
The fucking guy said one word. Who cares?
Here are your options. All right.
Yep.
We got Monster Military.
Okay.
We got Body Horror. This one I haven't seen.
Okay.
So I'm just going off of like I was kind of.
Well, Body Horror is too broad, so there's no way I'm going to guess that one.
Oh yeah, no.
I think I got Monster Military.
Okay. Making people into stuff.
I think that was the theme previously too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then we've got found footage where the footage was meant for the government.
Oh. Now I should know that. That's the thing. I'm trying really hard not to like take a long time here. Monster Military. Is that Dog Soldiers?
No,
it's not. Okay. I'm kind of surprised. Is it fucking... I can't remember the name of it. Shit. I'm not going to choose that one because I think I might know what it is and I hate it. You know what? What were the 2 in the middle there? But yeah, I'm just going to go Body Horror.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Also because you haven't seen it.
Ooh. Okay. All right. This is because I know how much you'll love them.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to find one that you haven't seen.
Right on.
I don't think you've seen this one.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
It's a 62%er.
That's better than almost most body horror movies as far as ratings.
It's a Canadian. It's a Canadian film. So, we got a plus there. It's called American Mary.
I have seen it.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
It's got the chick from Ginger Snaps in it.
Oh, God damn it. I tried my best.
I had when I was a child, pretty strong crush on Emily Perkins, which is her sister in Ginger Snaps. I made sure to watch pretty much everything that they both were in, just in case she would make an appearance.
Just in case.
Yeah.
You never know. So Monster Military, we had Planet Terror.
You're trying to get back because you missed it the one time.
Making people into stuff. It's Tusk.
Shit.
And then found footage was Apollo 18.
I almost went with that. And let me tell you, I'm happy I didn't.
You don't like Apollo 18?
An hour and 10 minutes of boring outer space, and then a moon rock moves.
Yeah, but when that moves, ooh, woo.
How the fuck you... Oh,
Look,
yeah.
you put me in a spot. I think I picked, we got a couple horror
I picked
comedies.
the second worst movie on that list.
Second worst? What was the first worst?
The first worst is fucking that.
Apollo 18?
Yeah.
And then
American Mary, and then Planet Terror, and then Tusk.
You think Tusk is the best one?
Yes.
I would have swapped Tusk and Planet Terror myself.
I understand, but Tusk is fucking hilarious.
It is.
Planet Terror is gross, and it's pretty funny, but Tusk is just straight up hilarious.
Oh my god, when is it Bruce Willis's dick falls off?
His dick falls off and he gets a lumpy fucking face.
Yeah, he does. And that's another movie where it looks like it was shot on old ass film as well.
Yeah, it does. Well, Grindhouse, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, that would have been that we'll just for comedy's sake never do those movies.
We're never gonna do Death Proof Death Proof isn't really a horror movie anyway.
It's a good movie though.
It is.
It's a damn good movie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, American Mary.
Right on.
If you can find that movie, good luck.
I can. I'm pretty sure it's on a streaming service.
Okay. Well, I mean, Google it. You're an adult. Everybody is an adult here. Google that movie. And if you can't find it, I'm sorry. We'll describe it to you next week.
I can't remember that fucking chick's name for the life of me.
I didn't even notice it was her. I just was like, oh, a Canadian movie about surgery. All right. I'm in. Okay. Well, that'll be next week then. All right.
Sick.
You got anything you want to end the podcast with?
Tusk gets a lot of flack, but it's fun.